And this is in line with BJP's attack on the Congress party. Politics is escalating. So a day after Congress party's interim president Sonia Gandhi slammed the centre's vaccination policy, BJP President Nadda launched an all-out attack on the Congress. Now Sonia Gandhi had flagged vaccine shortage in the country, accusing the centre of not doing enough to support the states financially. Sonia Gandhi also alleged that there wasn't an equitable distribution of vaccines. Nadda hit back at Sonia Gandhi, saying he was saddened by the conduct of Congress leaders during the pandemic. The BJP president said, while commendable work was being done by some Congress leaders, it was being overshadowed by the negativity that was being spread by senior Congress leaders.
Writing an accusatory letter to the Congress party, Mr. Nadda should write an apology letter on behalf of BJP for pushing India into the hellfire of second COVID wave. Mr. Nadda, instead of accusing the Congress party, should apologize to all the families who have lost their loved ones because of lack of oxygen, because of lack of hospital beds, because of lack of infrastructure. Mr. Nadda should apologize for not preparing for 1 year for the second corona wave. Must apologize for not listening to the expert regarding potential oxygen shortage supply. Mr. Nadda should apologize for pushing the nation into a scenario of vaccine shortage.
And joining me on the broadcast is India Today's National Affairs editor Rahul Srivastav for more on this big story. So Rahul, whether it's the Aam Aadmi Party or the Congress, the opposition training its guns at the Narendra Modi government for not planning enough for vaccination and for the second wave. What's the government's defense, if at all?
Gaurav, it's a very typical sign of something that we have been discussing almost since March 25, 2020, that there is a virtual breakdown of relationship between the government and the opposition at a time when there was need for extreme coordination. With this letter, 4-page letter that Mr. Nadda, the BJP president, has written, it is not going to mend the fences between the government and the opposition, and opposition which also runs certain states. It's sign that the government is fiercely enough right now that not only it is fighting COVID, but is ready to battle the opposition. Now, it was triggered by Sonia Gandhi, the Congress interim president, who said that it was a grave calamity created by the indifferent, insensitive policies of the Modi government. And Mr. Nadda is replying that. He has said that the lockdown was criticized, and after that the Congress has been demanding lockdowns. The Congress criticized the vaccine, ridiculed the Indian domestic vaccines, and then was against controlled by the center, and it is now talking about how the center is not helping the states. So all these elements which require larger coordination between the center and the state are becoming a victim at the altar of politics. Now, what the government is actually trying to do is trying to negate the narrative in which the government is taking flack for failing one, say, on the oxygen front, on the front of remdesivir, on the front of now vaccination. The vaccination drive is the latest battleground as far as politics between government and opposition concerned. With certain shortages appearing, Gaurav, there are fears being raised by experts that at the current rate of supply, if it is something close to 54 crore vaccines in 12 months, the exercise is going to take more than 3 years, and the opposition is feasting on it, and the government is combative enough to retaliate and get into a fight with the opposition. And that's why I will say it's definitely bad news, because opposition rules many a state, and there was a need for coordination instead of creating new battlefronts.
Rahul Srivastav, we will continue to discuss this in the days and bulletins ahead. But for the moment, many thanks. A quick break at the stage. On the other side, the virus has now made inroads and deep in